Hey girls! Welcome to the live portion of Katie's party. If you're here and joining us live, make sure that you say hi. If you are watching the replay, let us know you're watching the replay so that I can comment back if you're commenting and let you know that it's not live. Sometimes people think it's live. Before we're getting started, I was supposed to be at my sister's house, but I came home early, so I am just now getting to get things ready for this live. And I have a couple brushes that need to be cleaned. I mean, they've really only been used once, but I'm kind of obsessive about cleaning them. So I figured while we're waiting for some of our friends to come live, let me actually, I don't know how to tag actually. I was gonna try to tag Katie. I'm gonna just show you really quick how amazing our brush cleaner is, because it literally will clean your brush in seconds and then it's just ready to use. So hi to Danielle, I see that you're here. I'm just gonna clean this is the detail brush. It's really great for contouring. And then this is our brush cleaner. And all I do for cleaning, you can either spray your brush directly or the towel, like if you have like like this is like a disposable one, but there's also just whatever face towel that you usually use. Hi. Okay, so you can either spray this directly, a few sprays, and then kind of swirl your brush into where you sprayed it, and really that was all we needed for this. I mean, this is like clean again. Or you can spray directly onto your brush, a couple sprays, and then again, swirl it here in your whatever you want to use. These are just those disposable towels, and then it's just ready to go. So it's dry and smells like cupcakes. It's amazing. This is literally the holy grail when it comes to brush cleaner. If you have a lot of brushes that are really, really dirty, you might want to get 2 of these, but I would say, start with 1, see how you go. And for sure, such a game changer. So I'm just going to clean this one other brush. For some reason with our brushes, since we changed them when we rebranded from mascara to Saint, I don't know, there's something about starting with a clean brush. So I always clean them before I do my makeup. I know that sounds crazy. I never used to be like that. Like I would not wash them for 6 months. But anyway, as you guys are coming in, I wanted again to welcome you to the party. And one of the things that is magical about Saint, now there's so many amazing things, is that everything comes in a fully customizable compact. Now I can send you a color match that will have all the shades that I recommend for your specific skin tone. We also have collections that are pre-built, and there's a little bit of savings there if you want to just pick one for yourself, if you're not really wanting to send a color match, which I get. I have rosacea. I know that it can be daunting to send somebody that you don't know your picture. I promise. I've done hundreds and hundreds of these, and I'm not judging you. I promise. I mean, look at my skin. Okay. So don't worry about that if you are, but this is my own personal compact. This is one of our fancier plastic tins, but today I'm going to be using all of these warm fall neutral colors, which are my favorite. So if you are a fall warm shade gal, stick around. Even if you're not, I think that we could convert you, because these shades look good on everyone. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Jen. And Tina, I see you guys here. We have all different sizes, and the ones that I will recommend for you will be just kind of depending on you and what kind of colors you need. But this probably has some random things in here, but this is my most recommended size, and everything is magnetic and just comes in and out. So what's amazing is after your initial investment, all you have to do is replace an individual tin, and these last forever. They're so pigmented. So, okay. I think it's time to get started. I've kind of been doing different techniques for the parties that I've been doing recently, because there are just so many ways to put this makeup on. But I think today I'm going to use the brushes. You can use your fingers. Maybe I'll show you half half of my face using my fingers and then the other half using brushes, because I want you to get used to how to apply it. The how to apply it is technically the hardest part, but once you've done it a few times, I mean, it's really not hard. I promise. Hi, Alyssa. Okay, so the first step is going to be to moisturize your skin. Make sure that your skin is moisturized at least a half an hour before you put your makeup on. If you have oily skin, if it's hot in the summer, you're gonna wanna use a primer. I really recommend this Revlon Grip. You could take a screenshot if you want. Color Stay, it's cheap. It's on Amazon for like $8 or something. And honestly, I've used all different kinds and I just really think this one is the best one. Hi, Kimberly. So I'm just gonna start with like a little bit on my finger. And then I put this in the areas that I have like larger pores. I don't know if you can tell on this video, but oh yeah, Julie is my twin sister. So you guys are probably like, how does she looks just like her. Tracy. Alyssa, right? It's a game changer, this primer. I mean, and it doesn't break the bank. So, I mean, gotta love that. I love when we can find products that are just as good at a fraction of the price, honestly. I did get the setting spray for this, and then I don't know where I put it. So I haven't tried that one yet, but I'm excited to try it. I bet it's good. Okay, so you want to start with a primer. You don't have to. You can try both ways and see what you think. If you have bigger pores or oily skin, I would for sure start with a primer. So start with the primer, and then your first step is going to be contour. I usually use Astoria contour, and I really recommend that for most people. It's really a universally flattering contour shade, but I'm gonna swap this out for Indigo, which is even darker. And with these like warm shades, this one is kind of a warmer contour, and so I want you to see that you don't have to be afraid even of the darkest contours, okay? So all of these colors look darker in the tin than they do when they go on your skin. And one of the things that you're gonna want to really keep in mind is that when I give you your color match, or when you're going to look on the screen, you're gonna think, oh my gosh, those colors are way too dark for me. I have to choose my own. But honestly, you want to err on the side of a little bit too dark. Not too dark, but you want to err on darker rather than lighter. So that is what's going to make your skin look the best. I promise, just trust me, okay? So on this side, I'm going to show you with a brush. I like to use this detail brush because it has this perfect like flat edge that really gets into your contour and like carves it out, which we're trying to create more dimension into our cheekbones. See how I really have nothing. I have a full face. I don't have any kind of definition in my cheekbone area. We're gonna create a shadow. So this is flattering for everyone. Even if you already have cheekbones, we're just gonna enhance that. If you don't, we're going to create them. So I'm gonna start with this Indigo, and I just kind of like to just kind of tap it in to the side of my brush until I get some on there. And one thing to keep in mind is less is more with this makeup. I'm gonna show you kind of a little bit more so that you can see the placement of it, but you really wanna be light-handed. So you're gonna go ahead and feel for your natural cheekbone, and then kind of feel the base of where your cheekbone kind of curves in. So that's gonna be right here for me. And it's normally about where your ear is, like where the top part of your ear is right here. So we're gonna just kind of hug that. You can like feel your cheekbone. We're gonna hug that and bring that in, following our natural cheekbone until we get to this color portion of our eye. So just right there. And obviously this color is dark. Don't worry, okay? So another way to do this, and I don't know, I really wanna show you with the brushes because I personally feel like it's easier when you have like a tool and then you're not putting like your finger into your compact, but I'm gonna show you with your finger in case I know some people like that method. So I'll do that on this other side. So I'm just gonna like tap in a few times with my ring finger. I feel like that's the best one to use. And then again, you're just gonna feel here for your cheekbone, and you're just gonna place dots along your cheekbone in the same place as over here. Okay, so I'm trying to make it show up, but I have rosacea. So I normally do my foundation, my highlight shades first because I hate having all the redness, but I want you to see it. So you're just gonna dot it there, okay? So then the next place we're gonna contour is our forehead. So for me, and if you're like me, if you have a tall and wide and large forehead, you're gonna want to really contour a lot because we're trying to bring the light back to our face, right? So we're trying to get the focus instead of being up here in our big old forehead, which hopefully you're not one of the people that has that. But if you are, like me, don't worry. You're gonna want to try to bring it into this triangle of light, which is the center of our face. So everybody's face has their own roadmap. You're gonna go to your brows, to the arch of your brow, the highest part of your brow. Take your fingers and put them together on your forehead. Everything outside of this triangle is going to get your contour, okay? So I like to just use the full brush. Just get it on the brush, and then I'm swiping it just right here. And you can kind of go a little bit darker than you think. I'm just gonna do half. And really make sure that you're getting this whole part. And don't worry, we're not blending it yet, and it's gonna look totally crazy. But I want you to see the power of the blend. So again, if you're wanting to use your finger, you would just kind of place these colors over here. They don't have to be perfect. Like this all is gonna get blended. But again, we're just placing those colors inside where that triangle was, okay? See that? Then we're gonna take it along our jawline. I'm gonna use the edge of the brush again. You're gonna kind of just feel for your natural jawline. You're gonna go right behind it like this, okay? And then you're gonna follow your natural jaw. If you're like me, and you sort of have a double chin going on, we're gonna try to hide that a little bit, okay? So you're gonna go right on your jawline right here, a little bit higher. So see how that kind of creates a shadow that wasn't there before? That is where the magic is, okay? And then we can use our fingers. Honestly, sometimes I just swipe this instead of doing dots. But if you think that using your finger is gonna be easier for you, I don't. But some people do, so if you think your finger is going to be easier, then definitely try that. And don't forget to go kind of right here also. We're going to be blending this, so don't worry. Now, this is contour, advanced contour. If you feel like you are ready for some advanced contour, then we are going to do our nose. Again, we're going to use that edge of the brush. The key for nose contour is you want your nose to look smaller. So you're gonna put the lines of your contour on this bridge of your nose, not out here. If you put the contour shade out here, it's gonna make your nose appear wider. And we're not trying to make our nose appear wider. The whole point of this contour is to make them look slimmer. So I like to take just a little bit on that edge of the brush and I kind of like stamp it right there and then wiggle it down, down. And then I turn the brush, put a little bit on there, and I kind of bring it up here to connect to your eyebrow. Okay, do it again on the other side. As close together as possible, okay? As close together as possible. So you just kind of stamp it, wiggle it up and down, bring it down, connect it into your eyebrow. Yes, the nose contour, to be honest, is not something that you'll probably do right away, but dang, when I see pictures of myself, you're gonna connect them here underneath your nose too. When I see pictures of myself and I know that I've like done my contour and it's like on point, it's so crazy the difference of how like slim my face looks because your nose is the center of your face and we're really trying to bring that dimension up into the center of our face. So it's like, oh, you don't want to miss it if you can try to practice it and get good at it. I promise. It's like so cool. Okay. So now we have our contour in place. This is the side with the brush. This is the side with using our fingers. I might add some more. I keep like remembering things to tell you, but one thing that is amazing with cream makeup is you can set this on your face. Now it's just warming up on my skin so that when it's time to blend, it's going to blend seamlessly. Whereas your like long wear traditional foundations, they instantly like kind of get dry on your skin. So you can't like move them around or blend them or add or take away or anything, which is something that you can do with this cream. This does not set up until we set it at the very end. So if you're like nervous that you're not going to do it quick enough, or you're practicing and you don't want to mess it up, don't worry. You don't have to worry about that part, okay? So I also want to say this is going to take me probably an hour to show you because I talk a lot. I want you to understand what you need to do. But when you're doing it yourself, I mean, I do my makeup in 5 minutes. Like, it is truly so fast. It's only when you're first learning that it might take you a little bit longer. Okay, so next, all that said, next we're gonna go in with our camo shade. This is a color that's probably a shade or two darker than your natural skin tone. And it is used to camouflage any areas of your face that you feel need some camo. So that is this rosacea for me. That would be like acne, melasma, any skin discoloration, those kinds of things that you don't love about your skin. So I'm going to switch to the 3D brush for this. And on this side, I'm just going to show you how I would normally do it. On this side, I'll show you that dot method so that you can choose which side that you like best. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my darkest shade here, which is amber. I normally am tanner in the summer, and this shade would normally be sandy for me, but right now I really have not been in the sun. So the key is that you only really need to tap in and get a tiny bit of makeup on your brush. You don't need to swipe it. That is going to give you way more makeup than you need on your skin. This is gonna be a very thin layer, okay? So I'm gonna place this color here on my rosacea. See how like it's already almost gone? And I'm not even really blending this, I'm just kind of placing the colors. So this stippling motion, which is just this up and down, up and down, up and down, is the way that I prefer to do it. I feel like you get more control of your coverage that way. So I'm really only doing this like on the areas that I have redness. Then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna use the other end of this 3D brush, and I'm gonna go in with my pop color. And that is what's gonna be bringing the light and life in those pictures where you see like those people look like they're glowing. It's because they're using this pop color, okay? So that is your lightest shade, okay? And you're gonna this is Versailles, and honestly, it is bright, okay? So it is our lightest shade. So sometimes I like put a little bit on my hand I don't wanna use too much. So we're gonna use that here in the center of our forehead, right there. Down the bridge of our nose between our contour, and you can use this brush or you can use your finger because you really want it to be like thin. So down the center of your nose, down the center of your face. Again, we're trying to bring light to this area of our face. And in the middle of our chin. Sometimes I like to bring it right here under my contour to just define that a little bit. You don't have to. We haven't blended this all together yet. So, and then you're gonna do the inside of your eye right here, just the very inside, and the outer edge. Okay, we haven't blended, don't worry. I know it looks crazy. Okay, and then on the other end, I actually am gonna use the end of this brush just instead of my finger. I don't love using my finger. So I'm gonna use the end of this detail brush and I'm just gonna dot it on. So my camo color is going to go in these areas of redness. And then we just have one shade after this, after the pop. Along the sides of my nose. I don't think I did that over there. And then we'll go into the camo shade. Again, right here in the center, in the inside corner of our eye, along the outer edge, and that's it for the pop color. So your last shade is going to be your bridge color. Now that is the color that most represents your skin tone. So I've had to use a lot of my camo shade because I have a lot of redness, but This shade for me right now is Candlelit, and I'm gonna put that here in the center of my eye. I'm gonna put that anywhere that I don't have any of the other colors. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that, I'm gonna take this again here. One thing to keep in mind is that, ooh, what was I gonna say? That, oh, you only wanna put this in one layer. So you're not like putting makeup where you already have makeup. You're only putting it where you don't have any. So we don't have any right here. So that means you're placing all these colors and then blending them together to make one layer, because all of these, including the highlight, have coverage. So they're all your foundation, all of these steps. Isn't that crazy? So then once you have all your dots and all your colors placed, then you blend, okay? I'm gonna use this 3D brush. This is one I really recommend for a lot of people. And all you're doing is going along your lightest parts first. So I just kind of, again, am stippling. You can sweep a little bit here under your eye just to make sure you get that coverage. You're just stippling it, pressing it into your skin, okay? Pressing it in all over. And I really feel like this is where the magic happens, because it goes from, oh my gosh, she looks crazy, like I could never do that, to, whoa, that looks so good. Honestly, it's like awesome. It's so cool. Okay. And then we'll blend those two together when we get to our contour. Okay, so now we're just doing the lightest shades here. And I'm gonna use this brush, this side of the brush, to kind of make sure that all of this is blended in under your eye. Now for your under eyes, we're not trying to add a ton of product. That's why we're really only focusing it out here. And then using our like bridge tone there in the center. And honestly, even if you have like dark circles, you're gonna wanna I'm gonna add a little bit of my bridge tone right here, instead of under where you have that really thin skin. Bring it lower. It will still give you the brightness and give you the least possible product underneath your eye. Okay. Now when it comes to blending our contour, with our contour on our cheek, we're gonna blend it up. So I just kind of like to flick it a little, like flick that line, like diffuse it, and then do that same stippling motion. And this contour is a little darker than I normally use, but I want you to see like the dimension that it brings. So then we'll do that over here. It's all so easy to blend in. In fact, if you're not careful, you could totally blend your contour completely away, and you really want to see it. So you don't want to completely blend it, because you just kind of built yourself a cheekbone. So you don't want to, like, you know, blend it away. Now on your forehead, you're gonna blend this into your hairline and then down. So up for your cheek, down for your forehead. See how that looked so crazy a second ago? You don't have to worry. And then down for your jaw. So down the sides of your jawline and your chin. You don't want to see this line as much. You kind of just want to have that like, oh, is that a shadow? But you don't want to see the line ever. So be careful with that. And I have some blemishes under here, so I'll add more highlights. And then for your nose, we're gonna soften this line, and you're gonna kind of blend it down the side of your nose, but not too much. Soften. And then again with that stippling. So stipple, 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 which is just up and down, up and down, up and down. And then before you know it, it's totally blended. if you want to add a little bit more of your brighter color. This is when you kind of look at your face and you're like, okay, how do I like this coverage? Is it looking right? Is it looking the best that it should? Do I need to add anything? For me, I'm going to add a little bit of contour up here in my forehead area, just because I really like to have it look a little bit smaller. So I add a little bit more dimension and life, and I'm gonna even add a little bit more contour right here, just with this same brush. This is gonna be a little bit more subtle. And if you're nervous about the contour and you're like, I don't want to like do like too chiselly or anything like that, just get this 3D brush, because you can use this 3D brush, even this big end, for the contour. So I really recommend it. Even if you can just get one brush, I highly recommend getting this one. See how just adding that like a little bit extra contour just like, oh, it just adds so much to my skin. I just love it. Once I went contour, I mean, honestly, guys, I'm not sure I can go back to wearing, you know, any like not having contour. Like it just creates that life and dimension where I just didn't have it before. It's literally magic. Okay, so then we're pretty good with our face coverage, I feel like. So then I'm gonna go, I don't know, you can do what you want. I think right now I'm gonna do my lip and cheek, because I kind of have a little bit of highlight on my lip and I want it to like not look like that anymore. So I'm gonna start with this sandstone color, which is this dreamy, warm, rusty shade. It is one of my most worn shades, especially in the fall. And I'm just gonna go in again with that 3D brush. Look what's cool. We just blended all of that in, and there's not really, I mean, you can see makeup on there, but there's nothing here. It's all on our skin. So we're keeping it all on our skin, which is so amazing. So I'm just gonna do a couple. This one's pretty new, so I want to make sure I get the color. A little bit of the sandstone on there. And you're going to place that kind of on the apple of your cheek, but a little bit above where your contour is. And if you're wanting to look even slimmer, you can kind of just put it up here. But I kind of find that I like to still use it like we traditionally like using blush. So that is, we're just going to place the color kind of right here. And I usually use the blush and bronzer brush to like blend it in, this fluffy end, because it really just diffuses it. Christy, once you contour, you can't go back, right? I mean, it is the truth. It is the truth. Oh my gosh. Okay, so see how that's just like a nice warm, it almost looks like a bronzer. It's so pretty. So I'm gonna put that on my lip as well. And I'm gonna use this multitasker brush to kind of use it as a liner. And then I'll top it with a different shade here. Okay. So this brush makes it so easy to get your color on there. And what's awesome is you can use the same color that you did for your cheeks on your lips. You can use other ones that it's really like, for me, I think that the more satiny matte shades for my cheeks are like my favorite, but I kind of like my lips a little glossier. So again, we're just kind of lining our lips with this. And then I'm gonna do a thin layer of this sandstone color all over my lips. And I just did like a thin layer, but you see how it's like it really matches my shirt. It's like kind of a rusty, it's just so pretty. I love it. And then I'm gonna go in after that with this shade here, which is Boardwalk, which is kind of more like on the peachy. And oh, I love this one too. And then I'm just gonna like fill in with this. It's a glossier finish. And honestly, I can use my finger for this part, but it'll kind of lighten the shade a little bit to make it more peachy. but then you still get that same warmth. You see that? Oh, it's so pretty. Just wait until we have the eyes done in with it. And then you can kind of take your 3D brush, make sure everything is blended around your mouth, and then we'll go to eyes. Okay, so I 100% of the time when I'm doing my eye makeup have to start with a primer. I highly recommend using a primer. I don't feel like your eye shadows like will stay, this will make it stay all day long. So it's definitely worth the investment. This is the Urban Decay Eye Primer Potion. I use the color Eden because I do have some color like discoloration in my eyelids. So I just put a little bit here. And it's almost like a concealer, but they have ones that are clear, so don't worry about that. And then I just use whatever brush. This is the other end of the detail brush, and blend it in. But this will give me, if you have like fair to medium skin tone, this will like give you a nice all over base, especially if you have discoloration in your eyelid. You know, if you don't, you can get the clear one. They have multiple versions. I just like this Eden color for me. And I'm gonna do my brows too. Just a little filling in. I'll show you a cool trick. And then I like, once I've kind of blended this in all the way, I like to just press it in with my finger, make sure that it's all totally blended. And then it makes me like see my eyebrows. I'm like, oh, okay, let's do our brows. So this is our line brush. It has this really narrow edge to it, and I'm still gonna just use this indigo. This, sometimes I use Astoria, sometimes I use indigo, sometimes I use a shadow. It really just depends on the day. And I'm just gonna kind of like start here and fill in, and you can fill in however you like to fill your brows in. I really find using this brush kind of gives you more like hair like strokes. So I personally like this brush, but whatever you want to do, if you have a brush that you love. See the difference? I mean, it's just so crazy. Real quick. And because it's this contour, it's kind of, the contour has a little bit of like a more waxy consistency, so it really stays. But I find whatever brow product you use, make sure you're using something for your brows, because your brows are really like the frame for your face. And when you have your brows done, it just really like, it looks complete, you know? Okay, so I have chosen some warm, beautiful shades for this Zion, which is so perfect, right? So I'm gonna start with this Zion color, which is like a rusty, perfect terracotta kind of color. We're gonna start here above our natural crease, at our crease and above. So that's just right here. That's your natural crease. See how that like skidded with my brush? That's going to happen a lot of the time, and don't worry, just keep blending. So you're just gonna keep kind of running your brush back and forth to blend it in. This is our eyeshadow brush. It is next level game changer status for eyeshadow. I mean, if you just had to have one eyeshadow brush for like the rest of your life, this would be it. Okay, so you're gonna want to put that there on the crease, but make sure that you open your eye up, especially if you have a hooded eye. You wanna make sure that this is coming up high enough above here on that like fleshy part of your eyelid to make sure that you can still see it when your eyes open. See that? I mean, isn't that crazy, the difference? Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Then we're gonna flip it over to this smaller end, and we're gonna bring that color here underneath our eye. And if you're an eyeliner girl, try this out with your eyeshadow, kind of mimicking your same eyeshadow shade that you had on the top underneath. It will kind of give you this like nice smoky cohesive finish. It's so pretty. Okay, so that is Zion. And this technique, I mean, I do this every day. So this is like what I call a transition shade, but this is like where you would be putting it right here on your like crease and right above your crease. The shades that I love for this are this Cyan color, Bubba, that's like kind of a warm color. Cafe is a cooler brown. I love it. Lullaby is a really like dusty rose mauve color. Those are like some of my go-tos, like recommend all the time because they're so stunning. So if you're looking for, if you need help picking out eyeshadows, this is like one of my favorite things. So definitely reach out, and I for sure will be giving eyeshadow recommendations in my color matches too. So you're in good hands, okay? So we're gonna start this again over here. And really you're just kind of placing the color and then blending it in, just back and forth in your crease here. If you have a smaller eye, you can place the color with this smaller end and then just kind of blend it in. You can go back and forth. You can use these little circular motions if that makes you more comfortable, but really you're just trying to focus the color here on your crease, making sure again that your eye is open and that you can still see it with your eye open. You don't want to like work all this time on getting your eyeshadow perfect with your eye closed, especially if you have a hooded eye, and then you open it up and it's all just like swallowed up into your eye. I mean, that definitely happens. And the older I get, the more hooded I feel like my eyes are getting. So this trick is good for everyone. Just make sure, even if you don't have a hooded eye, that you're really getting that color up here. And then again, switch it over to the smaller end and bring that same shade. I'm so glad you're learning. I know that these are long-winded. I mean, there are like millions of tutorials out there that'll teach you how to do all of this in like a reel, which is like, you know, I don't know, a minute. But I want you to like learn and be confident that you can do this too. So I know I can be long-winded, but I want you to feel like you can do it, you know, because you can. Okay, so then I'm just gonna use our brush cleaning tile and just kind of take off this excess pigment from these colors because we're gonna go into another shade here. And it doesn't like clean your brush, but it leaves it so that there's no color on it anymore, so you can still use the same one. So then I am going to go into this color here called Philly, which is a warm chocolatey brown. I love it. And you can either use, if you have a smaller eye, you can use this small end. I'll show you that. Just kind of, I mean, these colors, this was 2 taps, guys. These colors are highly pigmented. You barely need any, but we're gonna really just place this here on this outer edge, okay? Kind of like next to your lash line up, and then just deepening this creased part right here. Not as high as where the Cyan color is, but just kind of like a V. So like right here and there. Like a backward 7, like a V, you see that? And then you're gonna just switch your brush over and just use these little swirly motions to blend that in. Because the power of having a really pretty eyeshadow look is blending. You have to blend. Okay, so we're just blending that in. And see how that just kind of like deepens it, gives it a little bit more drama. And then we're gonna take that same color and put that under our eye, but just like we didn't bring it all the way across, we're just gonna really focus it here on this outer edge, just to kind of give our, like elongate our eye there. And I know you guys are talking about the brush and bronzer brush. Do you guys wanna see bronzer after this? Because bronzer to me is like my final step, and I'll show it to you, because especially for this warm look, it just makes it look, it just finishes it so much. Okay, so again, we're gonna do it on this right here. You're just kind of following the outer edge of your eye and then bringing it over here. Now this is the same for you, depending on your shape of your eye. You would just do smaller or bigger or whatever. I have a pretty big eye space, like this lid space, so I can put kind of a lot. Okay, so again, softening that up, blending it in, really just getting it deepened out here in the outer edge. And this technique that I'm showing you, I use 4 shadows every day. This is what I do every day. You can, if you get 4 shades, what I like is that you can make it look this like dramatic. You can make it, you can use 2, you can use 1, but all of those shades are gonna work together, which is really important, okay? So then we're gonna again get the excess pigment off of, especially this smaller end of my brush, and I'm gonna go in with this Sabrina color, which is kind of like a eggnoggy champagne, and we're gonna just place that here in this inner corner of our eye, and all that's gonna do is kind of make it look like you had, you know, 20 hours of sleep. It's gonna really like brighten up this inner edge of your eye, and sometimes I bring it just a little bit over my lash line. And then the final, most exciting step is Soulmate, okay? This shade is so stunning. It's very, I mean, when I say it's pigmented, it is very pigmented. It's very soft. You literally barely need any. It gets a ton on your finger. I want you to see the pigment here. Look at this. So see how it kind of has that peachy tone, but it's really bright. Okay, you ready for this? I find that using my finger is the best way to get this color to transfer like I like it. We're gonna place this here on our lid. You see, can you tell how bright and beautiful this is? And for me, I only really keep the shimmery colors right there on my lid. I feel like they do a really good job of like opening your eye. But for me, I'm 40. I don't use a lot of shimmers when it comes to like this part of my eye. You totally can, but I feel like focusing it here is gonna be what's most flattering for everyone. I mean, look at that. It's so good. You do need it, Katie. It's like seriously, and you can use this shade with pinks and purples or with these like warmer neutrals. I honestly think it's like one of my top shadows. Well, it's so pretty. So then as a final step, I just take this brush and I just kind of make sure that that is all blended together, the shimmery tone with that first shade that we used. And that is the whole eye look. And I know that it seems complicated, but now that I broke it down for you, do you think you can do it? I really think you can. I think you can. You gotta have a little faith, okay? So then, let's see. The next, I think I'll do bronzer next, and then we just have like one more step and then we're setting it. That's it, okay? So this is our blush and bronzer brush. Again, this is one that I love and recommend so much. You can use it. You can use the smaller end for applying your highlight. That's our foundation. But this fluffy end is where it's at for contouring. So if you like to have like a faux tan, but maybe you don't want to put tanner on your face, or you're kind of transitioning from summer into fall and you're like losing your tan, but you still like that glow, this is what we're gonna do. Okay, let me make sure that this is bronzer. Yeah, like, wait, what's in there? So I like to just kind of pinch my blush and bronzer brush, and I go into this Bella bronzer, and we have other shades as well. So you just want to get that kind of all over your brush. It's not even that much, guys. And then you're gonna kind of just put this above here where your contour is. And when I say put it, we're like barely just bringing it back and forth where the sun would naturally hit you, okay? But it's like very, very lightly. This Bella bronzer is amazing. It's cream. If you haven't used cream bronzers, you are missing out. It's gonna be such a game changer. But what's awesome about it is that it doesn't have coverage. Like our highlights and our contour have coverage, this doesn't. So you can bring it kind of down your neck, especially if you're like me and your neck is way wider than the rest of your skin. You're just gonna place this kind of where the sun would naturally hit you. So like where your, you would get a sunburn. So then I'm just gonna kind of place it down here, a little bit below, just kind of back and forth. See how it can give you this beautiful, warm suntan without being orange and without having a lot of coverage. Like there's just not a lot there. So you can build it, kind of go right here. You can build it or you can just put a little bit, right? Everybody can do this. it will make, I honestly, when I do my color matches, I match a lot of people with bronzer because I feel like bronzer is one of those things that you can add to really like finish your look, and it just makes you have like that much more confidence. Honestly, I love it. I love it. I'm gonna put a little of our Boardwalk here on my lips, and then I'm going to use the last piece, which is illuminator, and this is our rose gold illuminator. I love this. And this is just gonna add a little bit of pop to like the top part of our cheek. So we're gonna place it right here with your finger, and see how it can be a little haphazard. I prefer the cream illuminators because they're a little bit more subtle, but you literally just kind of blend it in with your finger, and then it gives you that like highlight. Okay, so right here. And if you're like, oh, I don't need that, honestly, once you start trying it out, it's like, oh my gosh, it really adds that like glow, that like, it's pretty subtle, but it adds a glow. We do have powder ones. They're not subtle, guys. They are definitely a lot more pigmented, like almost like the eyeshadows. So I recommend those for like if you have younger skin that doesn't maybe have a lot of wrinkles. If you're one of the young ones, you can use the powders. I find that the cream ones are just a lot more flattering. So I like to put it there in the center of my nose, just adds a little bit of a glow. And then here on my Cupid's bow and kind of up there. I mean, it's subtle, but it adds such a like nice pop. You could, if you didn't have eyeshadow, you could put it here. You could put it up here on your brow bone, wherever you want. I mean, honestly, it just adds that little bit, okay? Okay, so then I always like as a last step to just assess, just look all over, make sure that the coverage is what I want, that it looks good, and then you can set it. So I have been using, I'm like at the bottom of this. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless, Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. I like our Saint one, but in the summertime when I get a little bit more sweaty, it has like a really dewy finish, and I love that for the winter. But in the summer, I like to use this one. This is the primer that I used, and they have a setting spray. I bought it and I don't know where it is, but I'll try that one out and I can let you know. Really, you just have to set your makeup. So there are two ways. You can spray it or you can use powder. So I like to spray generously. I spray this all over. I'm not even going anywhere, but I want you to see. So I like to spray it generously. You want to like have it dry. And then you're gonna go, if you are more oily or you just kind of prefer more matte of a finish, you can use that spray and then go in with this is our Vanilla Dust. I really recommend this because it's very translucent. It's not heavy at all. But the key to remember for setting powder is that you don't want to just fluff it all over your face like you normally would. You want to be precise with it. So this is our powder brush, and it has this like end here. There we go. And it fits directly into this Vanilla Dust. And I like to use this brush. There is a bundle here with the brush, the powder brush and the Vanilla Dust that comes with at a discount. I think it's like $10 off or something, maybe even more. And there's another one with the blush and bronzer brush with the bronzer. So if you're planning to get either of those, definitely check the collections tab because they have a little bit of a deal there. But you're gonna place this mostly only in the areas where you get a little bit sweaty or oily. So for me, that's just my T-zone. So I like to set my under eyes very lightly, just pressing it in. If you have your own powder, just use this technique where you're pressing it in and not swiping it, because you can disturb what you already just worked so hard to like make look perfect. I like to do around my nose because I do get sweaty there. My upper lip gets a little sweaty, and sometimes my chin and the center of my forehead. One area that you're not going to want to set with powder is your cheek, your contour and your cheek color. If you set it, it's going to mute the colors so much that you probably won't even see them anymore. And you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, I need to add it. And then adding it after powder is just really not ideal. So keep that area really like fresh and dewy. And then you can set right here underneath, and that can kind of help define it a little bit, but really just pressing it in, okay? Again, on this side, you don't have to do this. It's just like an extra credit. And then you're voila. I know that took forever. How long did that take? An hour? But honestly, once you've like mastered it and you know where the placement is, you literally are working from one compact and like a couple brushes. So it goes so fast. You can do it in your car, in the carpool line, wherever, on the go. It is so good. And you're always going to get this like glowy, natural, beautiful, skin-like finish that is so flattering. That is the magic of creams. So that's it, guys. If anybody has any questions, you can ask them now, or I will come back and watch the replay or comment on the replay comments. So I can answer any questions you want. Now, if you're like, I don't even know where to start, starting is a color match, okay? That is where I will recommend the shades that I know are gonna work for you. I've done, honestly, I wanna say thousands, at least hundreds of color matches, tons of color matches. So I really am good at this. You can trust me, and I want you to love it. So fill out that color match form. I will get that back to you as fast as possible. You can also comment color match here, and I will give you the link here if you can't find it. It's in the pinned post though. And that's it. If you have any questions for the rest of tonight or whenever, just make sure to tag me or Katie and we will get right back to you. I don't always see the comments, so try to tag us. But thanks for hanging out with us, guys. I can't wait for you to have your own magical before and after transformation. It's so fun. You're welcome. Oh, thanks, guys. But I can do my whole face with eyes in 15 minutes. Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, you guys can. You can. Trust me. Okay, I'm going to take a picture and I'll put all the shades in the picture here so that if you're like, what was she wearing? I'll show you what those were. So stay tuned for that. And we'll just have a few posts throughout the rest of the week. And this link for Katie will stay open for a week. But if you need more time, just let us know. We'll work with you to just let us know. All right. Thanks for hanging out. We'll talk to you later. Bye, girls.